Welcome to the Business, Finance, and Comedy Show. I am a guy surrounded by money. Today I'm interviewing Randy Rohde, who does press releases with his 38 digital market company. How did you get into selling press releases and why did you start?
Hey, man surrounded by money. I love it. Well, I got into doing press releases way back in 2017, I think it was. Sounds about right. And we started really because we had an agency, or we still do, and we're looking for additional streams of revenue, right? So, as a man surrounded by money, I'm sure you understand that. And so we were, looking at what could we do, and I didn't want to just go build out a bunch of PBM networks and all of that. I wanted to do something that was a bit different, that I thought was long lasting as well as good high impact, and that people would see value in. And after a little bit of research, began landing on the idea about press releases and distributing press releases across news networks and news sites. And so then we started doing that then in 2017, and decided to kind of go big. And then in 2018, end of 2017, we really launched it at the beginning of 2018, which was our newsroom, where we could then, at a much greater level of distribution to news sites as the source of news. And so we embarked on that, and we've been doing it ever since. And, so we distribute directly out to AP News or Yahoo or, Benzanga and hundreds of other news sites, not only in the U.S. but really across the globe. So, yeah, so that's kind of the story. Really was looking to do other services that we could do additional revenue, and something that was not necessarily going to be easy for anybody just to jump into. Because anybody can launch a PBN network, but doing press releases is a bit more of an effort and expense. It was quite an investment for us back in the early days.
I know that you sell online, but do you get much business from locals?
For press releases, a little bit. It's Our press releases, especially, are a digital marketing tool and tactic, and so agencies, especially, probably account for 80% of our press release business. We do get direct, small businesses do directly come to us, but um, local, uh, not as much. And we don't, I don't try to pitch it as much as well to my local businesses here. I mean, I do to a degree. I'm pretty active in our local chamber of commerce, and so I do put as part of being a member of the chamber of commerce, I do have like an offer out there on our chamber site. But um, yeah, I have to be honest, I don't think we've given any of those offers out since we've been doing this. So to local, but for all of our local clients, we do press releases at least once a month. So at least my local clients know and see the benefits of doing press releases.
What are some best practices that you tell your clients for them to give a good press release?
Well, you have to remember a press release. Well, maybe let me take a step back. Any client and anybody in thinking about doing a press release really needs to ask themselves a few simple questions. One of which is, what do they want to accomplish? Um, do they want to just get backlinks to support their page that they're trying to rank? Are they looking specifically for um, uh, uh, the ability to rank terms that are critical to their page? Do they want to expand their brand and their brand recognition and establishing trust and authority with that brand? And do they want to rank in local SEO tactics like in the Google Map Pack? So, kind of defining what it is that they want to do, that really is the first step, because each of those all have a little bit of a different nuance in how you would approach your press release. But once you define that, then you think about, well, what are the keywords that we want to drop into this press release? And if it's a local business, maybe think about some of those geo-relevant terms that would be important to you and for the particular page you're trying to rank. And then the other piece as well is understanding the linking strategy. So as an example, I'll give you a couple of different examples. One, if it was a branding press release where you're really trying to establish the brand and the brand authority, creating trust, managing reputation because of this as well. You probably are going to be linking to definitely to your homepage of your site, and that generally is going to be like a branded anchor, like Randy's Plumbing, right? Boom. And then linking to your homepage. And then you'd probably as well do a naked URL, whatever that would be, www. In that press release. And then you'd probably as well want to link to one other page on your website, and that would be the about page. And you can do that either as a variation or an extension like Brand Plus as an anchor for that. And then we as well like to suggest to clients that you should um, rank to a branded foundational page or branded foundational account. And what I mean by that is like LinkedIn, a LinkedIn company page, a Facebook page or profile. A YouTube channel. Those are all good things to add in there. And what you're doing in that press release then is that you're really sending a signal out to the search engines where you're like connecting the dots for the search engines, your brand against all of these other mentions of your brand. And that helps build in the eyes of Google your EEAT, right? The experience, expertise, and authority and trust. So that would be one thing you're kind of doing that branding strategy or the linking strategy. If it was a local SEO and you're thinking about, hey, I want to link, I want to do this press release to help rank locally on the local map pack, as an example. So that link strategy, you're going to be sure that we're going to embed your map in the press release with the full NAP W. So the name, address, phone number, plus the website. So we'll do the map and the NAP W. That's one component of that. The other thing that you'd want to link to would be one of, and there are several different ones, but you'd also want to link to one of the map URLs, and it could be the search URL. So when you go and you search your brand or your business specifically, and you want to grab that URL that's up in the search bar, so that could be one. You could link to the share link. So when you've got your map and you go click on share and it pulls that share link up. You could also link to the map CID URL, which is another good one. So we'd like to link to one of those three kind of in that press release. And again, if you're doing that local SEO, then you also want to kind of probably do like some geo-relative terms and thrown in there without that press release. So Really, so link strategy is pretty critical to define in the early stages. And then really think about what's the article going to be about? What's the newsworthy topic? And because from that topic, we're going to really build out what the press release is. We got to craft a really good, sharp headline because that's what's going to capture attention. And that is what's going to help you rank. So really coming up with that topic. So I guess to put it all into summary, what's your objective of your press release? What's the keywords that you want to drop it into the press release? Linking strategy, and then what's the topic? What do you want the press release to be about? The theme of the article. Those would be kind of the critical things to start out with, at least.
From watching YouTube videos, I know that you sponsor shows. How else do you promote your service?
Yeah, so we do sponsorships, and I do sponsorships both on other YouTube channels. We also do some sponsorship of organizations as well. So, as an example, we sponsor the Women in Tech SEO. And so we're one of their name sponsors, and which is a great group, by the way. And then I also like to look at, we're doing our first sponsorship of a SEO conference, a digital marketing conference, SEO spring training. It'll be coming up really in just a couple of weeks over in Scottsdale, Arizona. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, I think we do what a lot of others do when they're building their brand and really trying to promote their brand. We have a pretty active YouTube channel, and with that, then I do a couple of different live streams every week, and trying to provide some value and information there. We also do email marketing, so we have a pretty decent email list, and right now we're trying to stay disciplined and send out at least 2 emails every week to those on our email list, just checking in, providing some value. And sometimes we have offers. And whatever the information is. And sometimes I'm just like, hey, I was thinking about this and this struck me, and get their feedback on it. So one thing we have not done a whole lot on, which is paid campaigns. And uh, I may go that route someday. I'm not fully committed to that yet, but we may go there. And of course, from an SEO standpoint, we do a lot of SEO on our site and our pages to generate some activity on that.
None of my videos have been sponsored this far, which is unfortunate. I'll happily take sponsor money, but anyway, what are some of the main challenges that you have encountered in your business?
Main challenges. Well, let's see. I think initial main challenges, and still what our main challenges are, really around the distribution networks that we build. We build a lot. Right now, we have, I don't know, 900 plus news sites that we can publish to, that we have a partnership with, and which is a lot of sites, and trying to, one, maintain those relationships, two, be sure that kind of our pipeline to their sites is always working appropriately. Sometimes their end goes down, sometimes it's something in our communication to them, so that's always a challenge. uh, Sometimes sometimes the content that the clients want to create a press release about is challenging to both either write about or persuade the news sites to publish it. Um, Most of the news sites really maintain kind of the Google standard of decency. So, there are some limitations on what they're going to publish as a press release. So it's always kind of a challenge, kind of walking that fine line sometimes when there's something a bit more sensitive out there. Um, but yeah, those are some of the top of mind challenges that, and a challenge is always, and I think this is true for any business, which is, how do you continue to grow, expand, offer something new in your service? And so I'm always kind of thinking about, well, what else can we do for press releases? Because at the end of the day, we're writing an article, we're linking, got a link strategy, and we're putting it out on news sites. I mean, there a lot of you could go to a lot of different competitors for press release distribution, but what is it that's going to stand us apart from others? Why would people like, hey, I want to go back to Randy and his team to do our press releases? And so we're always thinking about, well, what is it that we can offer? What is something that's unique? Or how can we do our service but really deliver on exceptional results? And so that's always a challenge in thinking about how we position ourselves that way. But I would say that's true for any small business owner and digital marketing agency as a whole. But so we're always looking, always striving.
Can you tell the viewers about any funny or weird press releases you have done for your clients?
um, Funny. Now that is kind of funny. I will tell you this. This was kind of funny because it was it was funny at the time, and then kind of became serious. But a client of ours, I'll mention his name actually, Craig Campbell. He there in Scotland, there was a local politician who, I don't think he was still in office, actually. I think he had just left office, but his domain that he had for years expired, and nobody on their team did anything with it. And I'm not even exactly sure how Craig um, got notified. But anyway, Craig went and bought the expired domain, and it really kind of turned into quite the story and what to do with it. And but we did a press release on it by Craig's direction. Obviously, he was out looking for some attention with it, and which he got quite a bit of. And yeah, so that was very interesting. It was a good lesson to, like, folks, don't let your domains expire if they're important to you.
What successes have link builders seen using your service?
Good question. Yeah, we've got a bunch of case studies up on our site, but we've seen both from, well, yeah, specifically about link builders. I will let me say as well, just even for brands as a whole. I mean, we see some great activities happen, and extended organic pickups of stories. So when we're out there and we're putting a story out, and whether it's maybe for a local musician or here's an example as well. Back to Craig Campbell, we did a story on him, and Search Engine Journal selected him one year. I think it was in 22 or 21. Selected him as the one of the top five influential SEOs of that year. And in the article, actually did a snapshot of the one of the press releases that we did for Craig, and they used that as an example of the his popularity and attention that he gets, which I thought was pretty cool. So that whole brand and everything that we can do to build up brands is pretty strong. On a link building side, we constantly see and get feedback from clients that, as we've released the press release that I just got one of these just the other day from a client we did, and he reached out to me via Twitter. He's like, I can't believe this press release is ranking on the first page both in the UK and in Australia for their main key phrase that they were trying to rank for. He's like, this is killing me. I can't even believe it. This is awesome. And I was like, hey, that's so awesome. That's terrific. So we often hear from clients. They'll send us kind of a snapshot, of the hockey stick ranking graph of something that they've done. Brand new sites, they love to see all of a sudden they're kind of flatline, and then boom, hit with some key terms, and then as well as backlinks and referring domains hitting their site, and then their DR just jumping because of that. So those are always great things to see. I love seeing that. I love the see the success like that for our clients. So
Aside from link builders, what types of customers do you have?
types of clients that we have. So obviously we get link builders and agencies that are looking to do backlinks and keyword ranking for their clients. But we do get a lot of national companies that are just wanting to continue to build their brand, and or make announcements about either a service or a product release or something about their company, and maybe an award that they've achieved or have been recognized for. So we do get a lot of those, and we do get a fair number of just local businesses. Whether the home services businesses or some sort that want just to be able to take advantage and get some local businesses essentially kind of doing it on their own and trying to do their own SEO, but they want to get that attention that a press release can provide.
How often do you have to change a press release because it won't be accepted, and what are the common reasons why you would need to do this?
Well, in our service, you can do one of two things. You can either give us all of the information in the requirements, and then we will write your article. And so generally, we don't have an issue once we write the article, because we know how we can position things and how we can write the article to ensure that it's going to get the widest distribution, pickup, and impact from a organic search. Um, Often, if we do run into issues that PRs are declined, those generally are because clients can just give us their article and say, "Hey, will you, publish this?" And so we'll try to publish it. And sometimes, every once in a while, those will come back where either they're making some kind of a claim within the article that maybe is either not justified or completely able to be proven, or goes against the decency kinds of things. Like news sites don't like to publish stuff where an article is saying, hey, buy this and you will whatever, lose weight, grow hair, change your eye color, whatever, whatever it would be. They don't like to make any kind of claims like that, because the news sites don't want to end up kind of getting it on the chin by saying that they proclaimed something that wasn't. So they don't want to get sued by that. And so it's just easier for them to say, no, we're not going to publish that. So sometimes we have to pull that kind of language out. Sometimes we just have to ensure that we're putting a good disclaimer on the press release. A lot of times clients don't do that. And so when we see it, if it's a client generated article that they're giving to us, and I know like, hey, that's going to need a disclaimer of some sort, whether it's about financial or health, something along those lines, we'll tell the client, listen, we're going to need to put this at the end of the press release. And generally, the clients don't have a problem with that. And so we can get those things published that way. But it's usually anything that we have troubles with, it's all around the decency issues, policies that Google has. I mean, because that's what the news sites are using. So no porn, no political press releases, any gambling, pharmaceuticals. They don't like reviews. They don't like the word review either. And so we have to be very careful about, because we will get affiliates and folks who are running affiliate sites, and so they'll want to do like a review on a product or about their site that's doing reviews on tennis shoes or whatever it may be. And so we have to craft that article so that it's not then news sites don't even want to see the word review in the press release. So we have to be, we have to do a little wordsmithing to get around that. But that can be, you wouldn't think that that would be a problem, but that ends up being more of a problem than you would expect, actually. So,
On average, how many press releases are you blasting out per month?
oh, hundreds. Yeah.
What other forms of digital marketing or online business have you been involved with?
Yeah, so 38 Digital Market, we are a digital marketing agency. We are a full service digital marketing agency. So we do, everything that you would expect out of a digital marketing agency. So we do website design, hosting and management. We do SEO, local SEO, content creation, brand management. Excuse me. Um, so all of that aspect from a digital marketing standpoint, we do for clients. And then in addition, on our services side of the business, so meaning like press releases, we also do um, what we call featured article placement or guest post. But say, for instance, you wanted to have an article about you in Men's Journal or on LA Weekly or law.com, or a very specific publication, and we can write those articles. We call them featured articles, but they're really our placements. And we're going to go and craft an article very specific, whatever your topic is. The nice thing about these is that we have a lot more freedom. So they're an article, they're a featured article, not a press release, and have to really conform to the standards or the kind of guidelines of a press release versus a featured article. Well, I can write an article about the man surrounded by money and do all kinds of fun stuff with it, right? Whatever we want to do with it, and place it on a specific publication or put it in a couple of different ones, whatever your budget allows. So we do that, and we've got quite a list of publications that we have relationships with that we can do that with. And then we also do a lot of just kind of standard um, link service that you would kind of typically kind of think about. Now, we went down, instead of doing a PBN network, we said, hey, let's go build, we're in this news business, let's go build like a whole network of Google News sites. And so we have a pretty robust number of Google News sites that we do a lot of different things with, and build links on, sell them in different packages and such. We do a lot of guest posting as well. We do guest post outreach, and so we sell that as a service. We also build like different kinds of stacks, like cloud stacks and Google entity stacks. So all different kinds of forms of link building services is what we also provide from a digital marketing linking kind of services, I guess that you would say.
Where can people follow you?
Ooh, where can you follow me? Um, Well, let's see. On YouTube, Randy the News Guy. Look for us there. I mentioned earlier, we do a couple of different live streams. We do one at noon Eastern time, and that is Craig Campbell, Holly Starks, and myself. And that's actually is hosted over on Craig's YouTube channel. Um, and then I also do a live stream show on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, and that's on my channel, Randy the News Guy. And so I like to bring guests on similar to this one, where we talk about link building and digital marketing and marketing as a whole. Tomorrow I've got a great guest coming on, Marty Marion, just a stallion on marketing. And um, uh, of course, any of the social media platforms, I'm out there on that. And or you can even follow us right on our website. We do come on over to the site at 38digitalmarket.com. We have some what I want to say, some freebies you can download for some instruction on what to do with your press releases, how to build out a press release, things like that. You can get on our mail list. We send out, as I mentioned, a couple of things a week for that. So yeah, I would love to follow us, see what we can offer for you. If you have questions, reach out, all of that.
I would like to thank Randy for the interview. People watching can like, comment, share, subscribe and whatever else you do to videos if you're watching in the future. If you don't find notifications annoying, you can turn notifications on.